Apple Podcasts updates from Malmo in Sweden, the latest from our daily newsletter at podnews.net. Selling paid subscriptions through Apple Podcasts. Until now, you've had to upload that audio separately to Apple. But Apple Podcasts Delegated Delivery was announced yesterday, allowing creators to upload and manage that audio through selected podcast hosting companies when this feature launches in Q3. A number of initial podcast hosting companies have been announced, including RSS.com, Libsyn and Buzzsprout. But if you run a podcast hosting company and you want to participate in Delegated Delivery, then we've got a form for you to fill out. You'll find it linked in our show notes and our newsletter at podnews.net. We've also given Apple, a list of podcast hosting companies. Might be handy, iOS 15.5, iPad OS 15.5 and Mac OS 12.4 were made available yesterday, bringing annual paid subscriptions within the Apple Podcasts app. We told you about that last month. You can add an annual plan now. With the new iOS, the Apple Podcasts app has had a welcome tweak for automatic download settings with per-show customization. You'll find the new settings in your Settings app on iPhone or iPad. The app will also recommend removing old downloads when necessary. AI-powered podcast editing app Cleanvoice, which automatically removes ums, ers, stammers and pauses in your audio, has added an AI-powered podcast audit to show how your show is going. It tests your show for fluency, flow and soon, audio quality. It likes this podcast, it gives it an A. That's quite good. AdsWiz has posted video of its IAB podcast upfront session. We link to that today. Patreon has published a creator census as well. And John Sullivan has written about how corporate takeovers are fundamentally changing podcasting. And in People News, Elena Fernandez-Collins is now working with Simplecast in communications and content. She's a well-known podcast critic, reporter and host. And Rich Morgan has joined Jar Audio as client success lead. He's worked for a number of agencies. And in podcast news, Burnout, hosted by Connor Franta, explores the story of burnout, discovers how it affects your body and mind, and looks at why the easy solutions simply won't work to solve a systemic problem. Stolen, Surviving St. Michael's is new from Gimlet and acclaimed investigative journalist Connie Walker. It focuses on a dark part of Canada's past, the residential school system for Indigenous children. And Now Where Were We with Barry Cryer and Bob Cryer features the late comic writer in conversation with his many friends. It launched in December. Barry died in mid-January, but the last few episodes released after his death are rather lovely, including a special tribute episode. And that's the latest from our newsletter. To read all the stories and subscribe, we're at podnews.net.